Hi, how are you?
Hey, Sarah. I got your video of you walking. So strong. You look so awesome.
Thank you. Working hard to walk.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. How's it going? How's your pain level?
It's getting better. I will say without doing exercise, three during the night, sometimes go up to five.
Hmm. We should have about 8 to 10 people coming, so just take a few minutes for everybody to get here.
Nice.
This will be my first time doing like a big group recording, so I'm hoping I don't mess it all up. Maxwell, I see you in the room, buddy. You gonna turn your camera on?
Working on it, just taking a look at the backgrounds. I was
Yeah.
over in whiteboards, captions, backgrounds, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm holding my phone, so it's probably a little off, but yeah, I'll be back. I get everybody in the room. I'll put it back on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting quite a few people in here. I'm gonna wait for one more. I have a couple that are running behind. A couple that at the last minute wouldn't be able to make it. I'm waiting for Chris Coda. He's one of our other associates, and as soon as he comes in here, I'll get started. Okay. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm not exactly sure how to mute and unmute, let people talk and not let people talk and stuff like that. This is my first time doing any kind of group Zoom or anything like that in my entire life. So we're all going to learn from this today. But I wanted to put this call together, and I'm also recording it for everybody to reference because we have some new associates that have come on board. And people that I've met, been doing business with, um, uh, people from uh, LinkedIn ads, whatever the case is. And I just wanted to kind of have like maybe once a week where we can all get together and I was going to say talk about progress, but for right now, I guess everybody's just going to kind of listen to me. If everybody could turn your camera on, that would be appreciated, just so everybody in the room can see everyone. Oh, look at that. Look at all those beautiful faces. Oh my gosh. Look at all these people here. That's so cool. All right. So I don't want to take up like an entire 30 minutes today. If it gets to an entire 30 minutes, and that's okay. But yeah, so I'm Jason. Everybody knows me. I want everybody to take like 30 seconds, introduce themselves, just kind of how I started working with you or got to know you or whatever, just so everybody is kind of on the same page on the phone, and then I'll get started talking. So Sarah, since you're up here in the top corner right next to me, why don't you say hi and tell everybody who you are?
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm original from Colombia, but I lived 10 years in Puerto Rico. Now I live in Maine. Jason and I met a couple of months, more than a couple of months
Been
ago.
almost a year, but yeah.
No, almost a year now that I'm making the math. It doesn't feel like. And he has been since then my mentor. It has been a pleasure being around him. I have my personal project startup, and he has been so supporting in different aspects, including like in a personal stage, because I have major surgery recently. And it has been, I will say that he has been part of that community that helped me a lot during the whole process.
Thank you, Sarah. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Sarah has an app called Match to Play. Will help single parents and kids find activities and companies, people that kind of align with what it is they're trying to do, and give mothers and fathers a chance to find jobs. I mean, there's just all kinds of beautiful community stuff that's in there. And then and to kick off her launch, she's about to launch some really, really cool clothing that I'm so proud of. Just a really cool brand maker. And then I'm going to go over to Trina. It looks like Trina is out for a walk. Trina, can you say hi?
Hi, I'm Trina. I met Jason like 3 months ago. um, he changed my life for the better. I felt like I was at the end of my rope, and he kept talking to me and changed my mind. So I moved from Oklahoma to Texas, and I'm just getting started in all this. And
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
nervous person.
Thank you, Trina. Thank you, Trina. Trina moved. Trina applied for a job with us, and whenever she applied for that job, she was also battling some inner demons, and she was kind of suicidal. And I helped talk her off of a ledge. And over the last few months, we've grown really close, and she's getting into networking and she's learning investments. And I told her, I was like, I don't know if I have a place for you, but God has a place for you. So come here and work with us. And that's kind of how we got started. Miss AJ, I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. I know you've been busy. Tell us what's going on.
Hi everyone, AJ here. I am in Delaware. Met Jason probably now it's been almost 2 to 3 months through Facebook Founders. I own a balloon decor business and currently working on our growth and expansion. I'm taking a lot of classes right now, so I do miss chatting with you, Jason. I can't wait for us to catch up. it has been extremely busy. Blessings on blessings have been coming through. Meeting people here locally, but still taking care of business, growing the balloon business. But we are growing into a venue. So I'm looking forward to whatever is about to happen here.
Awesome. Brandon, go, buddy.
Hey, Brandon, I'm out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've only known Jason for a couple of weeks now, but over those couple of weeks, I've had some pretty amazing conversations with him. Sort of, I can tell he's a very deep thinker. Relate to him on that level, and I kind of just responded to a LinkedIn job posting he had, and so now here I am. I'm here to do what I can, and proud to be an associate with him.
I appreciate it, Brandon. Brandon is a little bit younger than I think just about everybody in here. But Brandon is one of the most capable guys that I've met. And one of the things that I appreciate being in the position that I'm in, I appreciate people that pop up into your life and they say, I know how to do that and I want to help you do it. And Brandon like just immediately came into my life and started showing me value. And so, Brandon, I'm glad to have you here. Mr. Maxwell.
So similar story. Before coming in here, I did sales for well over a decade in all areas of the market in regards to medical technology and life sciences throughout the Americas. And then I took a detour, went into consulting, which took me into private equity, mostly working with companies for raising capital and kind of doing that and sales and that type of stuff. And then I ended up kind of in the family office industry, for the most part, working with a bunch of different families, either raising capital for their companies or most recently trying to expedite their process or their growth within the markets. So I was finishing up a portfolio of businesses here in San Diego, and I started applying, and I was like, what am I going to apply to? Operations or, executive business development, where in the market? And I was like, obviously I was told just, lean into sales. So went into sales on LinkedIn, started applying to everything that was available that fit the criteria. And one of them was with Jason, and we talked. And kind of this is kind of a side hustle in addition to a bunch of other things, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Just utilizing my knowledge in the sales and family office industry and private equity. And in addition to, at the same time, building and scaling companies in the institutional world, I guess you could say. So that's basically it. And we're trying to find, obviously, the right opportunities to work on. I've had a couple of calls this week, and I'm starting to get things geared in to where, things are aligning. And I think that there's a lot of good stuff down the road.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, Maxwell. John, go ahead, buddy.
Hey guys, my name is John Okocha. I met Jason about maybe 5 years ago. I was working in real estate investment. I was actually selling properties to investors who were looking to fix and flip houses on the single family side. That's when we met. After that, I went into the commercial side and started focusing more on multifamily properties. So what I did is I did acquisitions and I helped raise capital for single family properties, garden style apartments here in the DFW area and also across the United States. So did a little bit of that. And from then actually went now moving more towards the lending side. And I'm actually looking to learn more on the lending side and be able to lend more to commercial properties. And I wanted to team up with Jason and see what we can do together.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it. All right, Yemi. I know you're working, man. Appreciate you showing up. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are, brother, and then I'll get started.
All right, thank you so much for this opportunity. I think I met Jason sometime last year, yeah, and it's been an awesome moment, and I like this kind of person. He's a deep thinker, and I'm actually a business analyst, and recently I'm interested in Gen AI, and I believe with what a lot of things he's been doing, I believe there's a part that we can use my capability and understanding of cloud computing and Gen AI to actually help drive some of those sales and how to reconnect with people. So I'm very excited and actually blessed to have met with him. Thank you.
Thanks, Yemi. Yeah, Yemi and I have an interesting story. Yeah, about a year ago, I was standing in the parking lot talking to a neighbor about God, and Yemi walked past us and he handed me this little postcard. And I thought it was like a flyer and he was a DJ because the postcard was very poorly designed. But it got the message across. It was bright and highlighted and everything. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is for a church. And then I invited Yemi over to come and talk. And then we sat there and we talked in the parking lot for probably an hour. But the fascinating thing about that day is the fact that Yemi just walked up to me in the parking lot whenever I was talking to a neighbor about God. And he just happened to attend the church that I walked away from God from when I was 13 years old. And that church was, what, 20 miles away in a different city. And here was Jimmy in the parking lot talking to me. And so, I that's part of one of the reasons why I believe that I'm successful. It's one of the things that I try to instill in others is to work on faith and let faith guide you. And even whenever it seems like everything is going wrong, and even whenever it seems like a business deal is going wrong or something at home is going wrong, then it's probably happening to you so that you can learn from it. One of the biggest things that I've learned during all this business is anytime that we're rejected by somebody, anytime a deal falls through, anytime something does not happen, especially if you were hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping for that thing to happen, it's literally God protecting you from whatever the aftermath was going to be of making that decision. And so a little term that I like to live by, I didn't coin it, but I started using it a few months ago. Rejection is God's protection. And so we haven't been rejected by anybody. I'm not necessarily going down that route right now, but it's just always important that we put, at least to me, that we put God or the universe or whatever people want to call it, that power, that we feel, that energy that we can communicate with and come and create with and negotiate with. So anyway, I brought everybody here just because I wanted to give everybody a quick understanding and overview of what it is that we're doing. We're a software investment firm. And the only reason why we're able to do that is because we have some technology that helps business owners. We supply apps and websites for business owners so that they can sell property, sell product and services. And then at the same time, now we are investing in those companies. I see, Yemi, you have a hand raised. Did you do that on purpose, brother?
Yes, you said you would record this session. I'm not sure if you have initiated that
Yes.
yet.
I am recording this session and I'll send it out to everybody so everybody will have it. All right. So now we're getting into the point to where we're actually starting to look at the transactions that companies are processing. And instead of just wanting to process those transactions, we are also focusing on contacting those business owners and injecting investment funds into those businesses. Chris, you're lucky, man. I just got started, brother. Everybody just kind of said an introduction, so you didn't miss anything. Chris, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody why you're in the room, and then I'll continue, brother.
Okay, my apologies. The wrong calendar with the invite. So I have too many emails. For one, for two, I'm Chris. I also go by Rich Nerd. I'm out here in Atlanta. I'm here to support Jason in helping connect investors with the project because of the nature of the project and how it can actually help. What do you call it? Supplement an investor's portfolio, in essence, to if they have real estate or something like that.
Right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for coming in, brother. Yeah, so I took some notes here, and I'm just going to go ahead and read these notes. And just reading these notes will kind of help some people understand what's going on in the world today. And I wrote, people actually feel like they're getting richer. investors feel like they're getting richer, but they're not. If you look at the central bank balance sheet and you look at all currency rather than just the purchasing power of the US dollar, you will see that the S&P, real estate, and oil and gas have gone nowhere in 10 years. Now, it does look like more money is being invested in those areas, but it's not being invested because our dollars are, the value is being lost in the dollar. So even though there's people that are always every day pouring more money into real estate, more money into oil and gas investments, they're not looking at the big picture as to the reason why they are investing in those, other than the fact that people just do it all the time. And so one of my main points that I try to get across to investors is that the government offers tax incentives to infrastructure that they need built out, but they don't have the bandwidth for. So the government needs oil and gas to be drilled. The government needs houses to be constantly updated. So they offer investors a little piece of the pie so that they can participate in that. The same thing happens with any kind of stock market or index fund or anything like that. The S&P has gone nowhere, and investors keep investing in it and they think they're making 5 or 8 or 10%, but they're not, because now they're fighting inflation and their money just isn't going anywhere. And so if you can see that the S&P, real estate, and oil and gas hasn't gone anywhere in years, what has in the last 10 years? Crypto and technology. That's it. And so the software that small businesses are using to grow, and on top of that, the actual businesses that are using the technology, nobody's paying attention to. And the main reason is because there's no real big tax incentives in order for people to go help small businesses or go help technology companies. The major players in the investment world and small business and venture capital and all that stuff with technology is just huge funds and banks that have the money. So the reason why they're not giving tax incentives to small time investors is because they want to keep that money for themselves. And so the only stock market that has been performing, let's see, the NASDAQ has been performing like gangbusters over the last 10 years. And the main reason is because they're investing in technology. Like most everything that's listed on the NASDAQ is a technology company. They're investing in AI. They're investing in Web3. They heavily invested in crypto. And then people are like, oh, well, there's volatility and all that stuff because it's not a thing yet. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how money is made, by investing in something when it's not a thing. By the time it becomes the thing, the people that were already making money, they made their money. And now that thing is available for everybody to put their hard-earned dollars in to maybe earn 5%, 8%, 10% per year. But just because of the nature of what I've been doing with my firm, small businesses, technology companies, and SaaS companies come to me all day long for investment dollars. Now, a lot of times we don't give those people investment dollars. A lot of times they need cash, they need technology, they need whatever infusion there is in order to grow their businesses, and it is not always cash. But the main difference between what I was doing before and what I'm doing now is before I owned a couple of software companies, and now we're actively investing in those software companies that are coming to us. And so instead of someone coming to me and saying, hey, can you help my business? Or, hey, can I buy an app? Or, hey, can I use your merchant processor to process our transactions? Then we're expanding the conversation with those people. And not only are we offering incentives and technology that would incentivize them to give us a larger percentage of their transaction, but we can also take equity in those companies via investment. And a lot of times the investment that we are giving is not dollars, it's technology. And so the reason why I feel that smarter is a safe investment, or a little bit safer than most vehicles that are out there, is because we've always experienced growth. I've never lost a single dollar for any investor. I've only gained, and I've only gained from myself. Now, that is not to say that past performance is indicative of future success, right? But we're just at a point in our lives where technology is going to keep growing. And not only is it going to keep growing, but we're at an inflection point in history where we're about to start using a digital dollar. And that digital dollar is already being put in place in countries all around the world. It's going right now in the United States. The world is shifting. And not only is it shifting, but we're about to see a major change in the way that money is being used. We're going to come across a point in history. We can say that this is Jason's projection or prediction or whatever. We're going to be coming across a point in the next couple of years where just about anybody who isn't rich is going to be poor. The middle class is going to get completely destroyed whenever this digital dollar comes out. People are going to lose the ability to just use cash in order to make transactions happen. And the cash that they will have to make transactions happen could fill up a barrel and it would be worth nothing. Every single time in history that a government has just put fiat currency and fiat currency and fiat currency out into the marketplace, we have always ended up in the same place. We have always ended up in the same place. And we're on the horizon to doing it again. And so what I'm trying to do with Smarter is not only take advantage of the fact that we have cheap infrastructure in place to process transactions, but we can utilize our transaction processing software and AI to start finding more companies to invest in. And that way, a year or 2 years down the road, whenever the digital dollar shifts and then things change for all investors who don't have the same access to investing in the stock market or real estate or whatever, we'll already have a ton of assets in place and beat this change in the market. Now, I know that that doesn't necessarily go into investing, but that goes a lot about the history of where our economy is heading. And the main reason why I'm so damn excited about technology. The digital dollar can be a good thing for us. These changes that are coming in the market can be good. We're about to get to a point to where everything in society is going to be on a ledger. Every product that we have in our house, every item that we buy at the grocery store, everything that we scan is all going to be tracked by smart contracts. And even though this might sound like a big, I don't know, like a big scary, oh, big brother's watching us, regulation needs to change in money in order for us to grow. Right now, there is just trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. Money is still being printed, and there doesn't seem like an outlet for anybody right now. But by having a centralized ledger system in place, and then eventually getting to the point to where the US and the world can start clearing away this debt, then that will change things for communities. But we also have other shit that we're fighting against, right? Population collapse, the world is changing, the weather is changing, yada, yada, yada. So at the end of the day, I believe that we have a couple of years to make as much money with the digital dollar as we possibly can. I believe that investors have a couple of years to make as much money investing in small businesses and technology as they can before we're cut off from the ability to do that. Once changes come into place with the digital dollar, oil and gas will only be invested in by big banks. Housing will be owned and only be invested in by big banks. The people that are out there fighting for 10 or 20% to flip a house, it's not going to be available to them anymore. There will be no need for those people whenever the government does finally have the bandwidth to do those things. So the skinny of it is we have stock for sale. We have convertible notes for sale. Our stock price is sitting at $10 a share. We've actually closed a couple of big deals in the last couple of weeks. Our stock price should be at about $15 to $17 a share right now, but the only reason why it's not is because I'm not paying attorneys to adjust the cap table yet, so that I can still sell stock for $10 a share. Our convertible notes, they last between a 2 and 10-year term. The way that they work is an investor gives money. They decide what term that they want and the length of the term based on the amount that they're investing. You all have access to these documents. And then here in the office, we're able to tell them exactly on what day that they're going to get their principal plus their interest returned. And that's it. The convertible note can also be used to buy cheap stock now. So if you were to meet an investor that says, hey, I would really like to buy stock in the company, but I also want the interest earning power of the convertible notes, then we can utilize a convertible note to pay monthly interest rates to an investor for 2 months or 2 years, 5 years, whatever that term is. And then at the end of that 2-year or 5-year term that they bought in for, they get stock in exchange for that liquidity at today's price rather than the price 2 or 5 years from now. And so whenever I would say that we're about to ramp up here in October, where we're finally about to start advertising. I'm finally about to start, like, everybody's kind of getting on calls and figuring out exactly what they want to do and how they want to make moves in order to help us grow. And this is me saying we're ready. So what I would like to do is I would like Jason Criddle and Associates and everybody here and the 4 associates that weren't able to show and the 4 associates that had no idea this meeting was even happening. I would like everybody to be able to start coming together in the near future and making money. What I'm going to be doing over the course of this week is I'm going to be making a couple of little small videos that you guys can just reference to. So if we have an investor that's interested in investing, I'm going to have a 2-minute video that's just there sitting for them. If we have a company that is like, man, I really want to expand, I really want to grow, I could really use Jason's help, I could really use Smarter's help, whatever it is, I'm going to have like a 2-minute video where I'm talking, and that way you guys can reference that. And so the most important thing is just to remember that we're all doing this together. I've been under the thumb of my investors for like the last 7 or 8 years, and this is my first time going out on my own and starting my own investment firm. And so I have my own lofty goals of pocketing billions of dollars over the course of the next year or 2 for my own personal reasons, but those reasons all come back to that original thing that I was talking about, faith. I believe that everybody that's in this room right now is here because God or the universe, whatever we want to call it, without offending anybody, God put us together. And I believe that the only reason why I'm able to have this conversation with y'all is because we're all kind of on the same path. Like everybody that's in here, we're listening to this call and we're all having this conversation because we're all light workers for the world. We're all positive. We're all doing things and always working to help others. And that's what Smarter and Jason Criddle has always been there for. Whenever I walk into a networking event, hey, little buddy, hi. Whenever I walk into a networking event, you have a room full of people that are selling things. And whenever we walk into a networking event, we're the only ones that are in there with the tools and the education and the ability to help those people sell those things. And so that's what I got. Now, I don't know if, I don't know how this call went. I don't know. I don't know if anybody learned anything. I have no idea. But what I would like to do is, now that we're all here, if anybody has any questions about how do we onboard a client, or if anybody has any questions about, hey, I have a potential investor, what do I say to an investor to get them interested? Or hey, I have a company that's interested in using your technology, your products. If anybody has any of those questions, then please. Maxwell's raising his hand. Go, buddy.
I don't know how to unraise my hand, but yeah, that's it. So if we got a bunch of different opportunities, what's the best way to bring them and discuss them and determine whether or not you want to move forward with any of them?
So I'm always looking for the swiftest way in order to get a response on an email. And anytime that I get a swift response in an email, then that's usually the process that we use to start experimenting with sales. So the cool thing is like we just got this big contract with Roku. Like we're going to be building all these TV channels for entrepreneurs. And so what we started doing is we started getting in touch with investors and entrepreneurs and saying, hey, you probably have a lot of content. Are you interested in getting on TV? And like literally everybody says yes. And so the very first thing that I always try to do is just start that conversation. If I'm talking to a business owner and I'm trying to sell them technology, then I'm going to start the conversation with, hey, tell me about your business. And while they're in the middle of talking about their business, and I'm going to ask them something like, man, how much money do you think you're spending on Facebook advertising that isn't working? How much money are you using on these administrative tools that are helping you with your business? Zoom, Calendly, all these different things. And so whenever I talk to any customer and I ask them those 2 or 3 simple questions, then I find out exactly how much money they're spending. And then I know, one, the things that I have are actually helping them increase sales, and the things that they're spending money on are helping them spend money on those things. And so once I find out that they can afford the thing that I have, then that's whenever I start to push the sale of the technology. Oh, we have this app that can help you increase sales. Insert, technology here. If I'm talking to a potential investor, then I'm asking them, hey, how's it going? Tell me what you're currently invested in. And I jump straight to the point. A lot of people will try to do lunch. John, I don't know exactly how you were starting your conversations with your investors, but I just like to walk up straight up to somebody and ask them what they're invested in, and then ask what kind of investment position do they have in those places. Oh, how much money you're playing with in the stock market? How much money are you playing with in real estate? You ever thought about investing in private assets or investing in pre-IPO software companies? Usually whenever I find out what somebody's invested in, I immediately go to what kind of returns are they making in their portfolio. Investors are very happy to share this information with you. They will very happily tell you that they're only making 5% or that they're making 12% or whatever it is. And so whenever we know that we have opportunities in our portfolio, companies that need board members, companies that are making 300% margins or more, then it makes a lot more sense for them to come and diversify with us. I'm not ever going to tell anybody not to put their money in oil and gas or real estate, but I will tell them to diversify so that they can mitigate their risk across an entire portfolio. Maxwell, did that answer your question as far as how you would start a conversation with someone?
Yeah, I mean that's the first start. I meant in regards to you, but that was really good. But like saying, okay, we've already done that, and there's a potential with this company or this group or this investor, whatever it is, and we wanted to determine whether or not it's of interest for you to even have a discussion with them.
I would just say just send me an email.
An email?
Yeah, if you have a pitch deck, just about anybody to talk to. I mean, any kind of information that they have, a website, a business plan, a pitch deck. If they don't have any of that stuff, then I wouldn't even take them seriously to begin with. You know what I mean? So you're always going to have somebody come up to you with a business card and an idea. And we don't even waste our time with that. So if they don't have some kind of infrastructure in place, if they can't prove to us that they have spent time, money, and effort on growing their business, then I don't even want to begin to have a discussion with them.
Okay. What about like channel partnerships? So there's one group that does earlier stage development stuff than what you traditionally do. And so they're, a potential group to funnel, opportunities through that can utilize the software and also potentially capital later on. Their limit's like about 5 million in capital. So, but they deal with like really early stage internationally. Like another one's like an ongoing company that's trying to scale utilizing affiliate marketing. They do e-commerce stuff and they're international. But like you know, ones that are a little bit further down the road than early stage, you know, it's like pre-rev or anything like that, like they're a little bit further down the stage, have a little bit more potential for not partnership, but you know what I'm saying? Like have a little bit, a little bit more intensive like development work that might be needed, or just might be like, you know, deal flow type stuff or revenue.
Yeah. So the cool thing, I guess, about our technology is it's all referral code based. And so like we're about to even start, well, I need to restart the relationship, but we have a pilot set up at 2 different Home Depot locations for them to sell our apps. Now it sounds silly because you're like, well, why would Home Depot sell a smarter app? Well, why not? Because they have contractors that are coming in there every day that own businesses that are processing transactions, and they all need an app or they all need a website. They all need something. And so we're working on Smarter Home, which is it's the exact same thing as it's called Smarter Contractor. It's the exact same thing as Smarter Marketing, except the head has a construction helmet on it and it's going to look a little bit more Home Depot and it's going to be sold in Home Depot. And so it's a product. There will be pamphlets on the Home Depot cash registers and desks that's going to say, hey, business owners, do you need more sales or referral customers for your business? Check this app out. It even at the same time, whenever I made the relationship with Home Depot, I made a relationship with Fuzzy's Tacos. There was a time at one point where we had our posters up at every single Fuzzy's Tacos here in the state of Texas. And now that we're about to launch the new software, I'll go ahead and rehash that relationship. But it was the same thing. We just had a giant poster that was inside every Fuzzy's, and it said, hey, do you need a business for your app? Insert the referral code Fuzzies whenever you download this app and you buy your own app. And so the cool thing about having this referral code system is just about anybody could become a partner in one way or another, whether they're selling software for us or whether they're channeling us some sort of leads. Now, what you're saying about an investment firm, I actually have we have a couple of big things going in the background. One, Hong Kong is giving us $15 million via a 3% convertible note that I sold them. And they're giving this specifically to me to start investing in companies and start buying out businesses. But I'm also trying to work on a banking relationship with them. And if that relationship follows through in the way that I want it to, then all of a sudden we're going to go to every single bank and and angel investment firm, VC firm, anywhere, and we're going to start working on partnerships with them. So I would just say that in the very beginning, like right now, especially since everybody's kind of starting out on the same foot, if you have any questions, get me on the phone. If you have someone that wants to talk about investment, get me on the phone or a Zoom call. If you have somebody that wants to talk about technology or an app, get me on the phone. And that will be the best way for you all to hear how I'm having those conversations with these people. And then eventually you'll get to the point to where you would not have to get on the phone with me in order to have those conversations. But also keeping in mind that I want to be on the phone with y'all, like I enjoy talking to every one of y'all. And so don't ever think that there's a question too stupid to ask. Don't ever think that you're bothering me by texting me, calling me. Please, if there's anything that I can do to help you, not only, help us grow this portfolio, but like Maxwell, I know you sent me an email the other day for a supplement company. I imagine we're going to be talking about that on Thursday. Sarah, I know that you're working hard on being able to walk again, and then at the same time, even though you're working really, really hard on your body and your mind, I'm so proud of you because you're still consistently working on your business in the background. Don't ever think that you can't call or that you can't ask me any questions. AJ, I know that we were getting really deep into our conversations and then you started getting busy with business and everything, but don't forget that at the end of the day, the only reason why we're all on this call together is because we're all trying to fulfill God's bigger purpose. unfortunately, we live in a world of capitalism. And so in order for us to really fulfill a purpose for God, we're just going to have to make a lot of money. I mean, it's really that simple. We got to make a lot of money so that we can continually bless others and use our wealth and our influence to continually bring people back to God, continually do things to help the world. And that's kind of what I'm all about. Does anybody else have any questions for me? I hope that this call helped or motivated or inspired somebody in some way. I really do. Mr. Chris, you got any questions, brother?
No, no questions. I'm still working on getting people just straight to your calendar.
Okay, cool. All right, so the biggest thing that I'll accomplish this week is I'm just going to make a couple of videos with just me sitting right here in front of the camera and then just talking over these few points. As far as like the affiliate software and smarter commerce and smarter marketing, those properties have been out working for years. And all those websites, they have commercials that explain everything to everybody, everything that they would possibly know. And so, like, unless you have like a relationship with a person that, you know, wants to become a referral partner, or they have like a big network and they want to put together like some deal for selling, you know, for reselling our software, I would say if someone's just like interested in an affiliate app, just show them to the app. Just show them the app. And the only reason why I would say do that is because if you have your own referral code in Smarter Marketing and you want to bring a team of 10 people to start selling that software, and you start trying to explain to everybody how to sell that software, you're not going to be as successful as if you go, there's a bunch of commercials that explain it all. And then teach them to keep pointing people to those commercials, and then teach them to point people to those commercials. Like there's a wheel there, like the wheel doesn't have to be reinvented. But other than that, if nobody has any questions, then I guess we can all say bye. Any last words? Anybody want to add anything?
Well, Jason, I did want to hop on the phone with you, or at some point, you know, when you have time.
Yeah, of course. Anything else, Brandon? You got anything to add, buddy?
Oh, thank you so much for this time and for the knowledge shared and the information knowledge shared. Thank you.
Of course. If y'all have anything for me, if y'all have any questions, please reach out, text me, call me anytime. John, I'll call you right now. All right.
I'll
Bye,
give you a
guys.
holler
Thank you.
here shortly
that?
too. I got to hop on some other calls.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.